Recently, the Karnataka government came out with a proposed framework to curb fake news and information on social media and other platforms. Now, State IT/BT Minister Priyank Kharge has called for agencies to participate in a tender to work for the government's fact-check unit. He also said that the government is serious about tackling misinformation. It looks like the state government has tapped into action mode to make their misinformation combat cell a reality. However, after the Karnataka government announced its proposal for a fact-check unit, the Editors Guild of India red-flagged the unit. The guild issued a statement urging the government to clearly specify the scope of and powers of the proposed fact-checking unit, as well as the governing mechanism under which it will operate. The unit should not become a tool to clamp down on voices of dissent, it added. Meanwhile, the Bombay High Court is hearing a very similar case. A division bench of Justices Gautam S. Patil and Neela S. Gokhale are hearing petitions filed by political satirist Kunal Kamra, the Editors Guild of India and the Association of Indian Magazines, and regional channels challenging the constitutional validity of the Information Technology, Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Amendment Rules 2023. The new rules require social media intermediaries to censor or otherwise modify content that relates to the central government if a government-mandated fact-checking unit directs them to do so. During one of the hearings, the Bombay High Court questioned the centre as to who would fact-check the fact-checkers. Which brings us to the question, what is the tenability of a government body setting up a fact-checking unit?
Understand that the government right now is trying to bring in a law to overcome the Shreya Singhal judgment. If you remember, Shreya Singhal judgment was by the Supreme Court questioning Section 66A of the Information Technology Act. The Supreme Court said that, look, freedom of speech and expression is a fundamental right and you cannot put curbs on that. Now, instead of agreeing with the law laid down by the Supreme Court, this is the attempt by the government to bring in a backdoor law. You rightly pointed out that absolutely there is no way that there could be any guarantees that the government would not act arbitrarily and crush the voices of dissent. Now, in these rules, if you just concentrate and read the rules, it's very clear that the actual idea is to crush dissent. Now, what does the rule say? Why is it so draconian? The rule simply says that the government will check for all the social media posts to check whether there is falsehood and whether it is fake. Now, the difficulty is that they say that it will concern only the business of the government. In the Bombay High Court in Kunal Kamra's case, it was rightly argued that, look, virtually everything under the sun comes under the central government list 1 and also the entry 97, which says that anything which is not in the 2 list will be the central government's part. Now, therefore, what happens is the example that was given in that case, I'll just quote that example itself. The example that was given was that, look, World Health Organization says there were 50 lakh deaths in India for COVID. Indian government figures are 5 lakhs. Now, if I carry a news and say that the WHO reported that there were 50 lakh deaths for COVID, the government is going to declare it as fake. And then the draconian part is that there is no third person who is going to verify whether I have told it correctly or not. It's the government's sweet whims and fancies. The government simply says that you have put this is a fake news, and it asks the intermediary, that is Facebook, Instagram, so and so, who are the intermediaries, and it tells them, pull this down. Instagram doesn't have the opportunity of asking me that, look, where did you get the figure from? Why don't you inform the government that you got this figure from WHO? There's no provision for that. The government simply passes an order, says this is fake, remove it. That's it. And they can't question it, because if they don't remove it, they lose the safe harbor. It's called the safe harbor, meaning that the social media, which is an intermediary, is not required to be prosecuted, and I will be responsible for what I say. But if they don't bring it down, along with me, they also become liable. You can't be the complainant, the judge, and the prosecutor. All the three the government is. It picks up the news, it decides that it is fake, it orders that it be taken out. This is unheard of. It doesn't happen in any democratic society. Now, that is the actual difficulty that is being faced.
How would this fact-checking unit run by the government function?
Whether it's the Karnataka government or whether it's the central government or the Maharashtra government, I'm hoping that the Karnataka government will not make it draconian and they will not ask people to pull down the post. My understanding is that the Karnataka government is actually proposing to make a fact check unit only to educate the public, saying that look, this is what is being circulated on the social media, this is not the truth, this according to the data is the truth. That is perfectly all right. The government has a right to put forth its views, put forth what it deems to be true, but it cannot be by suppressing the voices and attaching penal consequences to it. You can't have a penal provision saying that I am going to punish you, I am going to remove your safe harbor, I am going to teach you a lesson, I am going to arrest you. That is not acceptable. And even if Karnataka government does it, we will oppose it tooth and nail. I don't think that anybody should allow any government, be it state or the central, to suppress dissent or to suppress freedom of speech and expression, which is a cherished right under the Constitution.
This is Afreen Hussain and you are watching India Today SoSouth.